because no one is fighting and slaying as many giants as Usyk. The whole point of pound for pound is to acknowledge how skillful someone is when they're smaller, and to say if they were scaled up, they could be the baddest man on the planet. That's exactly what he did. This lived up to the hype. This is what happens when you get two dogs in there with high skill, a lot of feints, a lot of setups, a lot of adjustments, which is how Usyk caught Fury and hurt him bad. The worst he's ever been hurt. We'll talk more about that in a second. Get down in the comment section, tell me your thoughts, hit that like button and subscribe, and then hit the notification bell, because we got a whole lot of stuff to look into this fight. So many surprises, even though I was accurate on a lot of fronts for what I expected. There's also some important things that I think I was wrong on. And we'll judge that later down the line. So we got to do a few breakdowns, and I got to judge my prediction, which isn't going to be a win, but it can be a loss or it won't be counted. We'll see. Now, Usyk was not hurting Fury with most of his shots, and he was landing some big shots that was knocking Fury's head back, kind of like how he was doing with AJ. Like, Usyk has that speed, that pop, that surprise that just boom, it just knocks your head back. And what I said in the past video when I was breaking down Usyk versus AJ in the second fight, people get obsessed with power when the two main components to hurting someone is catching them at the right moment in time and catching them in the right place. And I didn't expect Usyk to hurt Fury, but I knew it was a possibility. And in fact, he had Fury in the worst shape he's ever been in his career. And the way he did that is Fury kept, we're talking about adjustments, Fury kept throwing that uppercut to catch him on entry. Normally it was with the backhand, but he also was throwing the lead uppercut. And so he gets outside of that, lands the right hook, but the right hook doesn't really affect Fury. It just sets him up for the left, and it catches Fury off guard. And it's a clean overhand left, just all the power coming into that shot. So he gets full rotation and great timing, great placement. Power, right? Even though he's not hitting too hard at heavyweight, he's definitely hitting hard enough to hurt anybody, because he hurt Fury, he can hurt anybody. There's so much to talk about, and there's so much that I want to talk about, and we'll get there, because this fight deserves so much attention, because it's undisputed heavyweight and it lived up to the hype. So it's gonna get the Spence Crawford treatment with like several breakdowns. The primary emphasis of why I thought Fury would win would be his approach. But I said I'm not confident, and in fact it was the least confident I had been, I would say, any of my predictions, because of Fury. Fury's so volatile, and he brings so many different approaches, and he can fight one way or another, and that's all within the same fight. And I expected him to do the smarter thing, which would be to try and use his size more often and try and get a hold of Usyk and bully. And there was moments where he kind of did that, but he didn't do it that much. And I said explicitly, I said, if he does not get a hold of Usyk, I think this is almost verbatim, if he does not get a hold of Usyk, Usyk will win by split decision. And I specifically said split decision because of the size difference. So when Fury lands big shots, they had a bigger impact, and Usyk couldn't shake it off as easily as Fury could shake most of his shots off. But prior to this moment, Fury was eating everything Usyk was throwing at him. And that's why some of those rounds, there's going to be so many swing rounds, which is what I was trying to say about the judges. I said that to the judges, even when Usyk is going to be landing more volume, he's going to be more consistent. And he's even landing some pretty big shots. In this fight, the big shots from Fury are going to catch more attention from the judges, regardless of how you scored the fight. And everyone should have scored it for Usyk. He rightfully won. And I think the unanimous decision definitely would have been fair. But when you look at Fury, and he lands those big shots, it definitely catches the attention, because some of the body shots will lift Usyk off of his feet, kind of like how AJ was doing them, and the uppercut up the middle hurt Usyk a few times in those middle rounds. But like I said, you got two dogs. Both of these men was hurt at different points in the fight, and both of them came back. And because of that size disadvantage for Usyk, that's why, without question, he has to be the pound for pound king. He has to have the crown, because no one is fighting and slaying as many giants as Usyk. The whole point of pound for pound is to acknowledge how skillful someone is when they're smaller, and to say if they were scaled up, they could be the baddest man on the planet. That's exactly what he did. He's fighting giants that are 20, 30, 40 pounds heavier than him. He's not just fighting them, he's outboxing them, and he's hurting them. He hurt AJ, he hurt Dubois, and he put Fury in the worst state we've ever seen him in. Fury was That man, look how he leaned back on the ropes. You see the eye, bro? That's the worst we've ever seen. Fury, I thought he was gonna get stopped. I thought Usyk was gonna put him away. Yeah, that's crazy. He's at such physical disadvantages, but despite that, he's putting on classics, and not just great fights, but ultimately great performances. When you get to see the dog, you get to see the adjustments, you get to see someone worthy of being the undisputed heavyweight champion like him, and the pound for pound #1. And as much as I think Crawford is the best skill wise, I will always maintain that. I think Crawford is the most skilled boxer currently fighting. As much as I think Inoue, the monster, is the most dominant boxer on earth, just crushing everybody, what Usyk does is more pound for pound worthy. You don't have to like his performances. You can be like, oh, well, they do this and they do that, and that's fair. You don't have to like his skills, but you have to respect the types of fights that he's finding himself in and the types of fights that he's winning. He's a giant slayer. He is the face of pound for pound. And like I said about Fury, although his legs definitely aren't what they used to be, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect Fury to come out here and be bouncing. There was moments in this fight where he was looking like he didn't need him. Like I said, in those middle rounds, he was looking kind of unbeatable. I was looking like, uh-oh, he's about to start cooking Usyk, and he was. But what caught up with him, there was a moment, I think either 7th or 8th round, where Usyk caught him with a clean left hand that landed kind of like on the orbital and kind of like on the nose, and his eye instantly started to swell up. That's a broken orbital, which also affects the nose. So I think something was going on with his nose. He was bleeding from his nose, and he had the eye thing. So that left was landing more and more because he couldn't see, probably because the orbital. And then, that's not to take away from Usyk. That's accuracy on his part to land that clean shot to mess up Fury and throw him off his game. But after that, Fury's gas tank started to go because probably the blood in his nose, and then Usyk started to catch up with him. And then that's when he caught him with this in the 9th round. So yeah, that cut didn't play a factor like how so many people think it would, but it was Usyk's just accuracy, landing on the right spots at the right times that changed the trajectory of this fight. Also, he had a chin because he ate some big uppercuts, but yeah, Fury is Fury is a character. You saw him fighting in there, just those long arms, putting him behind his back, whipping him around. Yeah, there's so much I can say about him, but one thing that makes it hard to predict a Fury fight is his inconsistency. But I was confident that he would show up like how he does on most big occasions, and he did today. He just met a better man. Now, Fury did show up today. He just met a better man. Like how Joshua showed up in his fights. He just met a better man. Usyk is just that guy. He's just that good. Now I got to get ready to judge my prediction because there's a lot that I got right, and there's some important things and crucial things that I obviously got wrong, like who would win. And so I got to take a look at that to see if I'm going to count that as an L or a no contest, because even with what could have been a victory, like a lot of people count that as a victory. I predicted Spence versus Crawford, and I chose the right winner, but I don't think I did a good enough job describing the actual simulation, the actual flow of the fight. So I counted that as a no contest despite me predicting the right winner. So we'll see, even though if I predicted the wrong winner, let's see if the rest of my prediction was good enough for it to not count as an L. That's what I'm about to do next. Because more important than the outcome is not necessarily who won, but how things go, how we get there. That's the whole point of simulation. So we'll see how good or bad that is, and be on the lookout. Fight Scientists, we are out.